They were two tiny kittens, a brother and a sister, always together, always sharing the same blanket, the same dreams, the same little world. One cold morning, the brother couldn't stand. His breaths were short, his eyes dull, his tiny body trembling. The sister nudged him softly. He tried to but only silence came out. Fear wrapped around her like the cold wind outside. There was no food, no warmth, no one to help. If this touched your heart so far, please like and subscribe for more stories like this. So she went out alone, a kitten no bigger than a glove, dragging fallen flowers in her mouth, pushing small leaves, offering them to strangers with pleading eyes. Some walked past, but some stopped. A few coins dropped into the rusty can she pushed with her paws. She returned every night to her brother's side, curling around him, sharing her warmth, whispering, "Just hold on, I'm trying." Days later, she finally had enough of medicine. The healer cat treated him gently, and slowly his eyes opened, brighter than before. When he stood up again, he leaned his tiny head on hers and whispered, "You didn't just save me, you saved our world." And together they curled under the old blanket, knowing love was the strongest thing they had.
It was a quiet morning on an empty street. 3 tiny kittens followed their mother as she crossed the road. But in an instant, the sound of screeching tires broke the silence. When the dust settled, their mother didn't move again. The kittens circled her body, meowing softly, not understanding what had happened. One of them nudged her face gently, but she didn't wake up. As night fell, the kittens huddled together under an old box. Rain began to pour, cold and heavy. No one came to help. If this moment breaks your heart, don't just watch, help their story reach others. Like, share, and subscribe. Next morning, a soft human hand reached toward the box. The kittens shivered, then one of them slowly stepped forward. The person wrapped them in a warm cloth and carried them away from the street. Now, in a small home by the window, 3 kittens sleep safely again. But sometimes, they still look at the door as if waiting for their mother to return. Once there was a small, weak cat, alone in the streets, cold and hungry. People passed by, but no one stopped. No one offered her a meal. She waited, hoping, but the world turned a blind eye. She searched the trash, her little paws trembling, eyes filled with longing, but the streets offered nothing, no warmth, no kindness. Only the emptiness of the night. But one day, a small child walked by and noticed her, sitting alone. The child reached out, offering a piece of bread, and for the first time, the cat felt hope. She took the bread with trembling paws, and for the first time in a long time, she was full of more than just food, but of kindness. 2 days passed. The little cat grew stronger, no longer weak and frail. She stood tall, with pride shining in her eyes. Her heart, once cold and empty, was now warm, and one day, she saw another hungry cat, lost, cold, just like she once was, and without hesitation, she shared the food she had with the other cat, for she knew what it felt like to be hungry, and now she had the power to give, from hunger to generosity.
In a quiet little street lived a simple tea seller, a man who kept to himself, and whose life was as silent as his small shop. In the morning, he found a stray dog sitting outside his door, shivering, hungry, and unsure of the world. The tea seller ignored it at first, but when the dog gently rested its head on his foot, something inside him softened. He tore a piece of warm bread and placed it in front of the dog. That one small act changed everything. From that day on, the dog came every morning, and slowly the tea shop became full of people. Customers would smile and say, "We don't just come for tea. We come for the love in this place." One rainy evening, the dog didn't show up. For the first time, the shop felt empty. And so did the tea seller. The next morning, when he opened the shutter, he found the dog sleeping outside, soaked from the night's rain. But wagging its tail with pure joy, the tea seller knelt down, held the dog close, and whispered, "Maybe we were both alone, and that's why life brought us together."
If you believe kindness still exists, then don't scroll. Watch till the end. The screen fades in. A cold morning, empty roadside. Cars rush by, splashing dust and noise. And beside the road, a small brown puppy sits, shivering, hungry, waiting. Every time a car slows down, his tiny tail wags with hope. Maybe his owner came back. But each car just passes by. He lowers his head and stares at an old torn collar beside him. It still smells like love. Later that afternoon, a boy walking home notices him. He kneels down, smiles softly, and offers a small piece of bread. The puppy's eyes light up. For the first time in days, his tail moves again. That night, rain begins to fall. The boy comes back searching for the puppy, but the roadside is empty. Only the collar remains, soaked and still. The next morning, sunlight hits the wet ground. A faint paw print is all that's left, a sign that he once waited there, for love.